this up now then. So first of all, good old-fashioned hemp. This one is cooked with tuna flakes in the jar, because it's actually cooked in the jar to keep it fresh. So a couple of those go in first of all. You'll remember I used to add tuna to my hemp now, but that's already cooked in it, which makes it even better. And then 3 tins of your cheap as you like sweet corn out of the supermarket. You can get this on deals sometimes and get it really, really cheap, and I buy this by the case. So 3 of those. Let's give that a nice mix up first of all. That on its own is a fantastic spod mix, but it will fly out the back of the spod. So we're going to stiffen it up with some boilie. And we're fortunate here that the bailiff Rob baits up for you once a day, so you manage to put a whole bucket in when he baits up, and then weather permitting we're re-spodding after we've had fish. At the moment there's a horrendous crosswind, so there's no point trying to do it at the moment because you just won't get it out there. So the mix of boilies, if I show you that, that's the mix of boilies. So hardly any whole ones in there at all, crushed up baits and half baits in there, and I've used 2 different tools for that. First of all, the crusher. That's been out quite a few years now, blends boilies up in seconds by turning that. And then the most recent little gadget, which everybody has now got in their tackle box I'm sure, is the cutter. Comes in 3 sizes, boilies get scooped up straight into there and it just cuts the boilies in seconds. So I cut probably 1 kilo and then crush 1 kilo up as well. And then in this case we've actually done most of these ones in the blender because we knew we were going to be using loads of bits and pieces, so it makes short work of that. And you can see there it's all stuck together. It doesn't look like boilie as we know it because we've added something to it. What we've basically done is got 3 tins of tuna in sunflower oil and then a bit of water and a bit of salt and blended it up with like a whisker that you would normally use in the kitchen, and that forms like a tuna milkshake. So it's really, really thin, smells really pungent. We then heat that up, just get it boiling, and then pour it onto the boilies, and over 24 hours it soaks into the baits and just adds something extra to the baits. You can also use sunflower oil, you can use things like coconut milk, especially onto the cell because that's got a coconutty smell as well. What we're basically doing is getting that to draw into them so it releases out of the bait once it's out there. And when it's not too windy, because this is quite oily what we've poured onto it, you can actually see oil coming up to the surface as the fish are chewing the baits. The oil's coming up and you know you're going to get a bite. So we'll add a bit of that to there. In fact, I'll just pour that in. Just fill that bucket up. Now that weighs about 10 kilos altogether, and we're putting one of these in about 5, 6 o'clock in the evening every day, and then like I say, we're rebaiting with the spods, weather permitting, if we've had a couple of bites during the night or we're getting bites during the day. And what we're trying to do is just keep the swim alive rather than just having that 1 bait in per day. Obviously you need a good casting technique and the right kit to get it out there with a spod, but what will happen over a period of time is all the juice out the hemp will draw into the boilies, make them even more spongy, so you can force it down into the spod so you don't lose anything out the back and everything is dropping on the baited area. That's really important. You don't want loads of bait coming back from the baited area that's still in the spod when you're winding it in. So that is the mix that we're using. That will work absolutely anywhere. If you've got no nuisance fish around, that's what I recommend.